So I've seen all three of July's big three movies, which is Jurassic World, Rebirth, Superman 2025, and Fantastic Four. And I pretty much just wanted to talk about what movie I thought was the best out of the three. Now I know there's other fantastic movies out there, like The Smurfs and Zombies 4 from Disney, Happy Gilmore 2, which unironically I will give a watch one of these days. Now all three movies were good. Some are better than others. See, the first movie I wanted to talk about, and is the third on our list, is obviously Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, I've always been a huge Jurassic Park fan, and I just really love dinosaurs. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just really always loved dinosaurs. When I first learned about them in like the first grade, and I believe that in every boy's life, he likes a handful of things. Out of all these handful of things, one of them is dinosaurs. Some people like trains, some people like cars, some people like other things of that nature, and for me, it was dinosaurs. Now, I don't think it's that much of a surprise this movie is at the bottom of the list. It's going up against two really good movies that came out this month. But as a standalone movie, I think it's fine. Would I recommend it to people? No one that I really personally know. You know, if you don't really like dinosaurs and I don't really know what to tell you, this movie's just kind of all spectacle, if you ask me. Cool shots and all that great cinematography, and that's what these movies have always been, just spectacle. And look at that scene, that looked cool. Now let's talk about the plot of this movie. This movie has a really weird video game premise of getting 3 blood samples from 3 different types of dinosaurs, I guess.
Why are these things always in threes?
I have no idea.
Tanosaur, which is one of the biggest sauropods ever, and then we gotta get blood from a Quetzalcoatlus, which was the biggest pterosaur ever to exist. Big as a freaking bus. It's ridiculous. And then blood from a mosasaur. And don't get me wrong, all the scenes of getting the animal's blood is all really good, if you ask me. It's all fun. It's all pretty good. Just in terms of the spectacle, especially in my opinion, the Quetzalcoatlus, I think that scene is really good at leaving you at the edge of your seat. I think a lot of this movie is really good at making you feel a little tense. Just good old dinosaurs just kind of being dinosaurs and attacking people. The deaths in this movie, although a small amount, are all really good and a little bit scary. I think this movie nails that, you know? My thing is this movie was just like pretty safe. Like, I mean, like, this it's you've seen this movie before. This movie does absolutely nothing new, and I think that's okay, but that's why I really wouldn't recommend it to someone. It's just so there, you know, you've seen it before. One thing I really didn't like about this movie is the really random family that shows up that do like virtually nothing to elevate the plot. You know, I'm sure there's a scene or two where maybe they're relevant to the actual movie, but they didn't really do anything. And then they bring in this stupid little dinosaur, the marketing buddy, our BB-8s, and I didn't find it cute. I think that I don't even know what the hell it is. Aqualops? Aqualops? I have no idea what this thing is. I didn't like it. Look, there's a toy for it already. It's perfect, no? Scarlett Johansson, I think she did fine. I think the acting was okay. It's a Jurassic World movie. I don't think you should expect anything mind-blowing. You have seen some good acting, especially from Bryce Dallas Hall. I think that's her name.
It was a lie. Bastard! It was all a lie!
The new villains of this movie are 2 mutant dinosaurs that I just don't like, right? And I might be a little biased, but I really love velociraptors in these movies. They're all fun. They're all super scary. They show the new velociraptors, and they're probably the coolest look they've ever been. I've always been a big fan of the Jurassic Park 3 velociraptors, and these look almost exactly like them and more. By the way, there will be spoilers in this video, so there's that. I don't know. They're in the scene, and it's for this annoying guy. The father's daughter's boyfriend is so unlikable in this movie. I didn't like him. And the raptors show up when he's taking a piss, and it's dark. You can't even see them, right? They have this super amazing design, and you don't get to really see them except their silhouette. And then the Mutodon, which is the movie's new Velociraptors, and they're just flying Velociraptors. They killed a Velociraptor in the pissing scene. That's the last time you see them. And the Mutodons are just flying Velociraptors. They look cool, I guess, but they're nothing special. There's nothing exciting about them. Then there's a Distortus Rex, which apparently all the toys of it completely sold out in Target, which was heartbreaking to my little brother because he is a big Jurassic Park kid. He's spoiled a little bit, and he has quite a lot of toys. Let me show you. No. So this is just the handful that I was able to hold in my way to my room. He's so into these toys that he has a big variant of the T-Rex in Jurassic World Rebirth, and the smaller one. That's how bad it is, if you ask me. It was a little sad to come across the fact that the Distortus Rex was completely sold out. It is not cool to me. Does it look cool? Sure, but it doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care for it. These mutant dinosaurs don't bring anything to the table. You could have replaced Mutodons with Velociraptors and the Distortus with T-Rex. And yes, we've seen this before, and I know they do it to spice it up, but it's a little annoying that how nothing they bring. Where it's just like, well, if we're not gonna bring anything, let's just keep what we have. No, there's a scene in the movie that everyone loves, and it's the river raft, and I didn't like it. I will admit this might be a bad opinion of mine. I feel like Jurassic Park, like the franchise, has a bad habit of showing scenes that kind of don't bring nothing to the plot. It's all spectacle, and it's always cool. Like I said, like there's nothing wrong with some spectacle, but if we're gonna show a scene of just the person surviving the dinosaur and nothing happens out of it, then what was really the point? Like, yeah, visually the river raft scene is really cool, and it's based off the novel. It's a cool scene, but it just doesn't bring anything, and that little girl should have died. Someone in that little group of Hispanics shouldn't have made it, if you ask me. They give Scarlett Johansson's character, whose name I completely don't remember, some sort of moral question about doing something right. The reason why they have to get these blood samples from these biggest dinosaurs is because they believe it'll be a cure to like immortality or living longer. The big evil businessman these movies always have wants to sell it for like billions of dollars. The one actor who seemed like he wanted to be in this movie, Jonathan Bailey, who played the doctor in the movie, gave Scarlett Johansson's character the question of, we should just do it because it's for the people. And at the end of the movie, Scarlett Johansson's character easily decides this, which is, I know these movies aren't supposed to be realistic, but if I was her, I'd be like, man, that. Is it a little bit of a selfish take? Yeah, but you're gonna send me to one of the most dangerous places on the planet and I don't get a lick of dough? But yeah, I think Jurassic World Rebirth was okay. Nothing special, but it was fine. My little brother likes it, which I think matters more than my 22-year-old ass opinion. Now that I'm done with talking about Jurassic World, I'm going to talk about the second movie on the list. Now, that second movie is going to be Fantastic Four. Now, a lot of people's opinion I respect have said that they've liked Fantastic Four more, but I adore Superman way more. But I'm not talking about Superman just yet. I really liked Fantastic Four. I think it was such a breath of fresh air compared to these last Marvel projects, and I haven't watched a Marvel project in a while. I never saw Deadpool. I haven't watched Born Again. Haven't seen Ironheart. I did watch Thunderbolts though. That's the only exception. And technically Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It just felt really new and just different from the last movies. And after watching Thunderbolts and this movie, I'm happy to say that Marvel's pulling me in again after so long of just giving us straight garbage, just nothing great, you know. I mean, maybe there's something decent here and there, but nothing just as what it was. And in my opinion, Marvel has always been good movie, okay movie, good movie, bad movie. It's always been in this cycle, even before Endgame. But after Endgame, and I don't like being one of these guys, but yeah, it did fall off, and more movies were bad, mid, and I'm starting to feel that we're losing this, especially after Thunderbolts, and especially after Fantastic Four. Before I get into what I really liked about Fantastic Four, because the things I dislike about Fantastic Four are just nitpicks, to be honest, or at least things that I feel are nitpick. One thing, pun intended, is obviously the Thing. I think they could have did more. Everyone in this movie had their little shine, and I think they utilized everyone, but I'm speaking of more of personality. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I've read any comic of Fantastic Four. Now, I've seen the older movies, came across the cartoons when I was little, but I've never really considered myself a big Fantastic Four fan. I like them, don't get me wrong. I love playing the Thing. I love playing Mr. Fantastic and Rivals. Everything that I've seen from the Thing, he's always had this kind of brute personality. Literally speaking, he is hard outside, but inside he's soft. And I've always enjoyed that dynamic of Ben Grimm. And in this movie, yes, he is strong, yes, he is tough, but just feels like a genuine too nice of a guy, if you ask me. It's also, the movie takes place in the 60s, I believe. I really think it wouldn't have been weird to give him that accent, you know, just that little groggy voice, right? You're a guy made of rock. It makes sense for your voice to sound like that. It's the 60s. Let's be weird, right? As much as I like the aesthetic of the 60s, it looked great. It was really, really good, which I also think helps makes it stand out from the rest of the MCU. But they didn't really do much with it, not to a point where I think it was overall pointless. I think they just could have did more. I also heard that Pedro Pascal, he wanted to give Reed an early 60s transatlantic accent, but Marvel said no, which obviously was probably because he's gonna come to the normal MCU world, because Fantastic Four doesn't happen in the same universe we've all seen. It happens in its own. Probably didn't give him the accent to make him stand out, but it's the 60s. Why not? Let's be weird. You know, maybe it could slowly be driven out of the guy as the movies progress or something. I just think they missed out on that. To me, the Thing is just some cool guy, some cool nice guy who's Jewish. But other than that, I think Johnny and Susan and Reed are just so awesome, especially Johnny. And I really loved Vanessa Kirby, Susan Storm. I think she did great. I really feel like she was the glue to the family, especially during her speech to the crowd after hearing from Galactus. I think it was really good, and I totally feel her when her and Reed would have arguments about what to do about Galactus. And spoiler alert again, Galactus wants to basically have their child. I think Pedro Pascal, regardless of all the memes and the anxiety of him touching people, you know, I'm not a Pedro hater. I like sharing the memes that he's touching people, but it's funny. I think he did a great job. I've always looked at Reed as someone who's low-key kind of dumb when it comes to social interaction. How he overall speaks to people is kind of just, I don't know how to explain it. I think he nailed it. He did really, really good. I like Johnny in this movie a lot. I like that he wasn't dumb as rocks. He's a smart guy. I mean, of course Johnny would be some sort of smart, right? He's a freaking astronaut, for crying out loud. Does he like bitches? Is he a dick? Yeah, but I wouldn't see how that dictates his intelligence. The guy learned a whole alien language for the bad bitch he met. Come on. I liked Silver Surfer. I remember everyone being mad that it's a girl and woke this and woke that, yada yada. I liked Silver Surfer in this movie. I think Galactus was a lot, you know, the small amount of screen time he had, he felt scary. I think it looked cool. He looked great. He was a great antagonist because he had no screen time, but the amount of panic he gave to the characters and of that world, it was scary. What do you do when you're in a situation and as you know, and it's so easy to just be like, give the goddamn kid. But come on, if that was you would not make that decision so easily, especially with the context that Reed and Susan were trying to have a kid for a while. I think this movie visually was also really, really good. Most MCU projects all look good. Obviously, there's our bad apples. It looked good. It didn't look weird. You know, one thing I wish they did more was everyone use their powers a bit more practically. I'd say Susan and Johnny did that, but I would have loved to see more Reed using it for more home life things, which I mean, I guess he does from time to time, but it was just one thing I'd say about this movie. This movie just could have done little bit more to kind of draw you into these characters a little, just to love them a little bit more. But other than that, this movie was a lot of fun. This movie just makes you feel hype again, right? I think the MCU has always been about building hype, the hype train. These movies have not been cutting it for me. But until Thunderbolts, especially their post-credit scene, and now Fantastic Four, it's just, you're like, hell yes, you are waiting for these future projects. They look good. They look fun, right? I'm looking forward to it. I haven't looked this forward to the MCU in a long time. And I want to say that Fantastic Four brought me back, and I'm happy about that. I've always loved Marvel. I'm a big Spider-Man guy. I think the Marvel movies are just so fun. Even when they're bad, there's at least something to talk about. I would definitely recommend Fantastic Four to anybody. It's good, it's fun. The movie makes you feel tense. There's a lot of tense scenes in this movie, especially when Susan was giving birth to Franklin. That was scary. That was cool. I love when Johnny was not hesitant in this movie, and this movie's trying to scare you with Johnny sacrificing himself. The Future Foundation already exists. This fool tried killing himself like twice this movie, right? He's not making it after Doomsday probably, or Secret Wars or whatnot. I liked it. I think this movie's a solid 8. Great movie overall. Now, for Superman, I've had people, like I said earlier, that Fantastic Four was better. Some people have said that this is James Gunn's weakest superhero project. I haven't seen Peacemaker, and I haven't seen I've seen all the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love those movies. I honestly really don't see it remotely. I love this movie. I also would want to say that I've never really been that big on DC. I believe everyone has a side. Now, there's some people who don't really care, but I believe majority of people have a side. Marvel or DC. I fell in love with the Tobey Maguire movies as a kid. I have just forever leaned on Marvel because of Spider-Man. And I'm not gonna say that Superman has brought me anywhere to DC side as much as I am Marvel, but man, this movie completely changed my perception of Superman. I was one of those people who was like, how fun can Superman be? He's so strong. I will say it's a bit hypocritical because I don't feel this way towards like characters like Saitama, characters like that who are overly strong and you're scared to ruin the plot. But I've never really cared for Superman. I remember watching Man of Steel back in 2013. I saw it in theaters when it came out, like 2013. I was probably 10. I fell asleep. Now, I didn't sleep the whole movie. I didn't like it. It didn't grab me. I honestly want to tell you, I slept during that stupid tornado scene. That's where the sleeping pills kicked in. The visual melatonin was hidden. And I just never really liked almost any of the Snyderverse movies. Is that, I don't know. I don't care. I've never really liked them. Maybe there's a handful of movies I did like. I liked just the first Shazam. But man, I think James Gunn just completely saved DC. Especially after The Rock tried to come in and wave his fucking cock everywhere to, ruin it. I love Superman so much movie. Now let me talk about it instead of just glazing it. The first thing I want to talk about this movie is the music. I love this music for this movie. It is just like, it just something to me that I think I was looking for in a superhero movie. This sounds so stupid, but I feel like it physically lifts you up hearing the music. And even the music produced outside this movie, like Punk Rocker and 5 Years Time, such good songs that I never heard of, honestly, and I probably would have never discovered thanks to James Gunn's awesome music taste. They know how to use the music in scenes to just elevate the feeling of heroic, of sadness, especially at the scene where Superman's fighting all the raptors. I've seen so many memes on Instagram about that scene alone, where I'm so glad that this movie's music gives everyone that exact same feeling of just strength and hope. And this movie's all about hope, and the music just absolutely elevates it to a whole nother level. Another thing I want to talk about the movie are the characters. I like all the characters in this movie, right? A lot of people were saying that they felt like this movie is a bit bloated with the amount of characters in this movie, and not everyone gets the time to shine, and how you're not going to be able to tell that Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen are best friends because they are in the comic. But honestly, I don't really care. I think everyone was awesome. I loved everyone in this movie. I liked the Justice Gang. One person where I can say I didn't really like, what I do is I liked Lois. She was just a bit annoying to me. Other than that, she was super cool too. I think David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult killed this movie. They did a fantastic job. I remember when these trailers dropped, people were very skeptical. But when I saw Crypto and I saw this new Superman, I was like, you know what, man? This movie feels so weird and different that I think it's going to be great. I've always been in this phase where I've never really been crazy on Superman, but something about this movie's charm, and I saw who was making it, that I'm just like, this movie just might be good. I see the potential. I see the experimentals, and I think it's gonna work. And people can just be very close-minded. Like, I feel like everyone's critique almost not valid. No one cares for a Snyder fan, in my opinion. These guys are just upset. I think Henry Cavill did what he could. He's such a cool guy. I think he was cool. He did not deserve those movies did not deserve him. I think David Cornsweet just killed this movie, man. He did so good. You know, he looks like Superman, which was the first step. Another thing that I really liked about him is in the scene where Lois is interviewing Superman, you can hear his voice change when he slips into the Superman voice.
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
And it's details like that where I truly believe makes a movie, right? He just feels like Superman, man. The scene where the big monster shows up and this motherfucker saves the squirrel. I was like, dude, that's it. This movie, this is Superman. This is Superman now. The Snyder's movies try to make him into this god. And I'm sure there's comics out there where writers lean more Superman being more of a god. But man, David Cornsweet Superman is human, and he values all life, dude. And I think that's awesome, and I love that this movie pushes that idea on you. This movie's corny in the best way possible. Superman just trusting everyone is just, it's nice. I think our world can just be very negative, and it can be blue. But this movie, Superman just makes you feel some kind of way that you'll be okay. I loved Lex Luthor in this movie. When I initially saw that Nicholas Hoult was going to be Lex Luthor, I was a little surprised. Like I said, I'm not into DC media like that. And I've seen some of Nicholas Holt's movies. He's never really been anyone that I've ever really noticed. For me, from what I have seen of Lex Luthor, he's always been this buff, smart guy. And I saw that he was as skinny as I am. Not really. I was a little like, this, I don't know about this move. But man, I love getting proven wrong. He did amazing. You think Eddie Brock was a hater in Spider-Man 3? This is a different level of hating. The amount of hate you can see in Lex Luthor thanks to Nicholas Hoult was outstanding to me. It made me feel like I'm doing something wrong. Still, speaking of the characters, I like Crypto. Honestly, I'm not much of a dog guy. I like cats. I'm a cat guy. I have a dog and we're cool. I like him. I pet him. I say hi. But I just lean more to cats. But man, I like Crypto. I love how annoying he is. It's realistic, right? The ankle biting when Superman was laying on the snow and the dog jumps on him. Man, that's hilarious. If you don't find that funny, I don't know what to say about you. You might just be a negative Nancy. Him being annoying plays into the movie. I think the Justice Gang are awesome. I remember watching Batman Brave and the Bold and seeing Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. I thought he was cool. I thought he was funny. I think he's so lame it's cool. I'm glad they brought the haircut. I love that stupid bowl cut. It's so funny to look at. Nathan Fillion did a really good job. I think Mr. Terrific was awesome. I loved his fight scene at the beach with Lois. That song has been playing in my car on my way to work for a while now. It's a little embarrassing. I love scenes like that, and I'm so glad James Gunn does stuff like that. Brings a level of charm to the movie that I think more movies should do. I think Hawkgirl was great. She doesn't really do much, but the scenes she's in are all really good. I liked Elemental Man. He's funny. I mean, I like the scene with Superman in the Pocket Universe in the Atom River with Elemental Man's baby. That's a really good scene. I also really love Anthony Cardigan. I first saw him in Barry, and him as NoHo Hank is really awesome.
My guys suck balls, you know it. Especially this mother. right here. If I suck balls, you are king of suck balls mountain. Shut the fuck up.
I think this movie's action was really good. I liked every fight scene in this movie. I think it's better than Man of Steel's action. Man of Steel's action feels... You can't feel the punches in Man of Steel's, right? They're visually really great, don't get me wrong. But you feel the weight of every punch, every laser beam. It feels heavy. Sound effects most definitely help. The fight at the baseball stadium with Superman, Ultraman, and the Engineer... Man, when they're attached to each other, when Superman and Engineer are attached to each other and Superman flings her around, that's a scene that makes you cringe in a good way. And the scene and the ending fight with Ultraman and Superman gets the upper hand thanks to Krypto killing the cameras. And this fool Superman, I don't know what he grabs. I think he grabs like some sort of metal pipe, some stop sign, and he beats the out of Ultraman. This movie's action is so fun, and the way the camera moves around Superman is genuinely so good. Getting into the cinematography, it's mind-blowing how they make Superman feel so... I don't know how to explain it, man. You feel so powerful. That's Superman with the way he flies. There's two scenes that I really want to talk about. When he's fighting the giant monster in the city and he's flying through the flames, he shoots up in the sky and the sun's beaming down. I'm like, holy shit, right? I felt something there. I've seen this movie 3 times, might I add, right? And I felt the same way all 3 times, and I felt the exact same way at all these scenes. And my favorite scene in this movie, including the laser beam spin, was when the building's falling on the bridge and this lady's car won't start and the building's inches from her, and he grabs the building last second. They have like a second of eye contact. Car starts and she drives out and she looks through the rearview mirror and you see Superman come out the smoke. And like I said, the music, man, this level of wow I felt, right? And this is why I put Superman above Fantastic Four. It's more of how I felt. I feel like the pedestrian that was saved, like the level of faith you feel in him from, you know, saving your life is mind-blowing. This movie made me feel, man, just full of faith and hope. I think Jimmy Olsen's character is really funny. I love that he always just has a girl. Girls are just always on him. I think that's super funny. In the beginning of the movie, it explains the origin, right? There's no origin in this movie, but it gives like a little Star Wars ass opening of some words explaining what's going on. 300 years ago or 300 decades ago, this happened. 30 years ago, Superman came to Earth. 3 years ago, he announced himself as Superman. And the last one was 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first fight. I think it would have been cool if we got a little into that, right? That Superman lost for the first time, might I add. I think it would have been great if Superman had a bit of an opinion about that, because he loses and then he just goes right back, which is very Superman. But it has to feel you have to feel some sort of way. But I think it would have been really cool if he had something more to say. I think this movie wants to push you as a person, and I think something like that would have helped, even if it was small. You know what I mean? I think Eve, Lex Luthor's hot girlfriend, Mutant Toes, I think she deserved a bit more on screen, right? Because because Eve's character is in love with Jimmy Olsen. She's pretty much the reason why Lex went down. Half the other side of the fight with Lex Luthor. I think she deserves way more, especially because of how big her job was at taking down Lex, and she was just played as the stupid girl, albeit that is her character. But I think it would have been nice, just some more love. But my final thoughts on Superman, I love this movie. I wish everyone would watch it. And although I know a lot of people aren't going to feel the same way I feel about this movie, I would want you to go in hopes that you do somehow, some way feel how I feel about this movie. If you don't, it's fine. But I love this movie, and I really do think James Gunn is going to make these movies great. I think DC has a very bright future. I think Marvel's future is looking brighter. I can't say that for Jurassic Park. It's been a great month for movies. For one of those people that saw other things in movies, that's cool too. And I could say that in a couple years, I'm going to be thinking like, damn, this was a good time. It was a good year. Please watch Superman and Fantastic Four. And that's it. See ya.